Like call the city council meeting to order. First thing is everybody, if you have a electronic device, if you could please shut it off or put it on vibrate for tonight. Otherwise, I'd ask you to stand for the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'd like to welcome everybody tonight. First thing up is I'm Mayor Jim Hemish. Putting on the road.
I'm Tim Paskowski, Councilor.
Councilman Josh Warren.
Councilor Pat Evans.
Councilman Mike Mathias.
City Attorney Matthew Lovin.
Martin Bodie, City Administrator.
I'd like to welcome everybody again. First item up for this evening is the approval of the agenda. Are there any additions or corrections?
Mr. Mayor and council members, I have two additions. Resolution 114-15, guarantor for the Fire Relief Association credit card. I'd ask that be placed under 9A. And also Resolution 115-15, appointment of Assistant Emergency Management Director, and that would be 9B.
With those additions, I'd look for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval of meeting minutes for January 7th and January 15th, 2015. Is there any questions, comments, or inquiries?
I'll make that motion to accept the minutes of January 7th and January 15th.
Second.
Any discussion? Or look for a all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Approval of bills to be paid. Is there any questions on the bills to be paid? If not hearing any, would somebody be willing to make a motion?
I'll make that motion to accept the bills paid.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Consent agenda for this evening. Resolution 110, approval of January 2015 journal entries. Item B is Resolution 111-15, temporary 1 to 4 day liquor license for River Lakes Hockey Incorporated on 4/11/15. Item C, Resolution 112-15, approval of ordinance 2015-100 mandatory water hookup. Item D, Resolution 113-15, approval of timesheets for property owners to hook up to city utilities. Time schedule. Those are the 4 items on the consent agenda for this evening. I would look for a motion.
I'll make that motion. I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Move on to reports for this evening. Police Department. Chief Chris Boucher.
Hey guys, I'm gonna pass these out if you don't mind here. I made plenty of copies, so it'd be a shame to take them back with me. I'm just gonna pass these out also. There's just one more I added at the last minute. I found some interesting stuff out. Just fun number tape thing.
Thank you.
I'll get you this one here.
That's fine.
Okay, so we are looking at the months of September, October. If you look at your numbers, number 1, look at the month of September. We had the 1 medical emergency in the city of Richmond, 45 traffic stops, 42 warnings out of those, and 17 citations, or citable offenses, I should say. 2 alarms, 5 suspicious vehicles, 3 open business doors in the city of Richmond, and then 26 calls where people called us wanting assistance in some fashion or form. A person was arrested in the city of Richmond on an outstanding warrant in the month of September. Number 2, the month of October. So 128 incidences, 4 medicals, 86 traffic stops, 71 warnings, 44 citations, 1 alarm, 11 suspicious activity, people calls, 1 open business door, 25 calls of service. And if you look here, we dealt with a shoplifter, recovered a stolen vehicle, and there's 3 separate calls for criminal damage to property. If you look at the numbers to see the big jump in the month of October, if you look at traffic stops going from 45 to 86, the reason why there is a jump there is some of the reason is we start working TZD the month of October. There was none in the month of September. So that could very easily be some of those numbers. We have where officers are assigned to work extra hours. They get reimbursed through the government. Okay, and all they do is they work the streets enforcing traffic laws. So you see that. That's that. We got the dog. The dog is not here in the city of Cold Spring and Richmond yet. Marty did see the dog. We brought it here to City Hall one day when the dog was here. You might have seen it in Cold Spring Record for the people that donated. That was the same day that we brought the dog here. The dog is currently getting trained in the location of illegal narcotics, and then shortly after that it'll be a tracking dog also. They do those separate. So it's a little more different than Abby. Abby's just finds drugs. This dog here will find if someone's lost, missing, that type of thing. It's not going to be a bite dog, so it's not, that aspect of it. There's bite dogs that track people, but once they finish track them, if they locate them, they'll bite that person. So this dog is strictly a track dog and a drug dog. We got the dog from Slovakia. That's right by Poland. If you guys look at a map at Poland, it's right there. The prices have gone down. I think the prices have gone down. I'm speculating, but because of all the drama that they have going on over there, United States currency is worth more than it is over there. There's guys and gals, that's all they do is raise dogs for military, police style dogs. So that's where we went with that dog. I'm just going to read these off if you don't mind. These are the donors that donated to the dog. Cold Spring, that used to be considered the Granite Company. They call it Cold Spring now. They donated $4,000. Herb and Kathy Schultz Fund and Faith Community Foundation. That was one of the ladies that won the lottery at Holdingford Cooks. She's one of the ladies that won that. They donated $3,000. $500 came from an anonymous source. He didn't care to have his name out there. It was a family from Cold Spring. $300 was Patricia Fazio. She's a little lady from Cold Spring that I helped. She was getting scammed on her driveway. So I got some money back, and she just wanted to give $300 to the cause there. And then $1,700 is from the Cold Spring police officers have a foundation, and they donated the rest of it, $1,700. So the dog came to $9,500 is how much a dog costs. So, and it should have been around $12,000, but the guy that flew over there worked out a deal for the city of Cold Spring, Richmond for $9,500. So that's a very good deal. And then, like I say, the best of it all is we didn't have to use any budgeted or taxpayers' money to fund the dog. So that's always a good thing to tell people. We are looking to get a prescription drop box, like one of those wall vault ones they have in the city of Painesville. We're waiting to hear back to see if they have it on stock. If they don't, sounds like they're going to order one. And we're going to have that placed in the city of Cold Springs City Hall. Okay, so people have access to drop off pills, unwanted pills, and prescriptions that they no longer want. That's what that's for. Let's see. We began our Richmond Cold Spring blotter. I don't know if any of you look at the Cold Spring Record. If anything interesting happens, they simply put a little synopsis of what happened. We started doing that here, I think, 2 months ago. 6 officers participated with a shops with a copy event at the Walmart and Stock Center. So 6 Cold Spring Richmond officers attended that. I spoke at a career day at North Junior High. I did 5 classes with a total of 100 middle school kids. And then I applied for a grant from the state of Minnesota to get a 5th computer for an in-squad computer, and then 5 computer printers and 5 license plate readers. At one point soon, we're going to be able to grab somebody's driver's license, swipe it, and it's going to download that information. Instead of having to handwrite it, we'll just be able to send like a credit card. You swipe it, and it comes up with that. We applied for that, and I just got a letter on the 20th saying that we got accepted. So when we look to purchase them, they pay for half the equipment. This new squad car, if you guys have seen that, we went to a black and white. Guys wanted to have a black and white, so we decided to go with a black and white. And we also did that for another reason. There's people out there saying, for example, we have an issue with speeders on First Street South in the city of Cold Spring. Quite commonly we sit there, at least an hour try to do an hour shift, looking for speeders as people are coming home between that 4 to 6. People are coming to us and saying, we don't see you. We sit there all the time. So maybe it was just to the point where we were blending in too much. Maybe that car was something they've seen all the time, so they stopped recognizing that car. But for whatever reason, but this is a black and white car, you can't miss it. It's gonna be very easy to spot. And it's the same style logos, except it's black and white. It says Cold Spring, Richmond on the bottoms of the doors. And then on the other side it says Richmond and Cold Spring. So that's all that's covered. And then number 10 is the one I added tonight. And just to give you guys an idea, in the year 2014, the city of Richmond has received $7,127.89 in fine revenue generated in citations. So that hopefully help offset some of the overall cost for the police department here. That's decent money, It's always nice to get $7,000 back if you want to look at it as a rebate, whatever that is. So, do we have any questions at all?
On number 10, when you say $7,100, what percentage of the fines is that?
I really off the top of my head, I don't know that. I do know that there's things that are broken down differently. Like let's say for seatbelt use, I don't believe we get any of that money. A lot of that goes into the state patrol coffer for whatever reason they get the seatbelts. If I was to guess, I would say out of a $135 ticket, you're looking at around $25, somewhere in there.
So it'll be about,
But then you've got like DWIs when you would probably get a higher percentage. You see what I'm saying? Everything is slightly different. It's skewed. Because there's also tickets out there that are like $285 tickets. You know what I mean? So do you get $45 off of those? That I couldn't tell you that. This number here, I called the court facility, and every month Marty gets a statement with how much money City of Richmond receives, and that's the number that they told me. So I couldn't really honestly tell you the exact percentage. I would imagine it fluctuates with certain dollar amounts.
okay. On number 7, you spoke at North Junior High for Career Day. Do you do the same at Recording?
Yep. And the reason why I went to North Junior High was they wanted a canine officer. That's why. So there's only 4 of us in the county, so it gets pretty tough. Okay. And I knew one of the teachers. That's how I got suckered into that one.
Any other questions for Chris?
No.
Okay.
Thanks for the report.
Thanks, guys.
Appreciate
Thanks.
that.
Move on to the fire report, fire department. New chief, Steve Koch.
Good evening, everybody.
Steve.
I'd like to start off with the calls for January. We had rescue calls, we had 6 medicals. We had 6 fire calls for a total of 12 for the month of January. In January, beginning of January, we had election of officers, and we had a couple new people, one being myself, Steve Koch. I'm the new chief of the Richmond Fire Department. Assistant chief is Jesse Coleman. Training officer now is Derek Mueller. Secretary is Paul Wyman. And safety officer is Randy Shackman. I'd like to move on to training. Last month's training in January, we did a medical training. It was our first responder refresher, or 44 plan is what we do. We do that 4 times a year to keep up on our training. It was covering personnel protection, scene-related emergencies, and each person ran through a scenario with our instructors out in the truck bay, which was kind of interesting. We learned a lot with that. It was a car accident with a power line onto it, and just to make sure people knew the scene safety and stuff like that, so it was very interesting. We have 2 of our newest members attending a Firefighter 1 class, which is 4-hour class 2 times a week, and sometimes on Saturday, which is held up in St. Martin. This is a 116-hour course. for house and building burns. That's about all I have for my report. Any questions? Concerns?
Do you have any questions for Steve?
The new people that you have on, you said they're going through firefighter 1, have they completed the first responder course ready to?
No. They started with their firefighter 1 and firefighter 2 class.
Just taking a look at the calls over the last 6 months, mutual aid fires otherwise 0, and buku amounts of medicals, and I was just wondering if that was a priority to have the first responder done before the firefighter.
We like to try to keep our new members all together. If they're all gonna do a firefighter 1, we like to keep them all together so they're all attending the same class at the same time. Not that you have 1 doing medicals and 2 doing firefighter 1s. They have a two-year period where they can have to finish it up, but
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions? I do have something to offer. I received a letter or a thank you card for the Richmond. It's listed as this: Dear Richmond Fire Department, thanks for helping shine the light on Adam and Stephanie's wedding date event on 1/17/2015. They gave a donation to the Richmond Fire Department. For those of you that don't know, the power went off at River Station, and the fire department supplied them with a generator and 2 lights to make sure their event could keep going on. Just so that, it's kind of one of them days. It's a wedding and nobody wants to go home in the middle of the event. So, there's a donation here for the fire department, and I'll hand it over to Marty, and you'll see that on your paperwork. So,
well, thank
I just
you.
thought it was a neat gesture.
Yep,
So,
thank you.
other than that, anybody else have anything to offer for?
Well, just on behalf of the city, congratulations on the new positions for yourselves and the fire department. So,
Thank you. I'll pass it on.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Do you want to introduce your new assistant chief?
New assistant chief is Jesse Coleman. If you want to stand up.
Give your profile to the camera.
Richmond Council.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, guys.
We'll move on to council report for this evening. First up is the Richmond EDA. Pat and Mike.
Basically, we had a meeting scheduled earlier in the month, and due to a funeral and some people being sick, we canceled that. And we had one a week later, early in the morning, and this is the property the EDA owns on the east side of town, the 2 lots across the street from the Dollar General store. We have a realtor working at that, and we have received an offer, which was declined, and we came back with basically a counter. We countered offer. Other than that, there was no other action due to, it was an early morning meeting, and we just had to make sure that we could legally counter offer that by the full committee. So, other than that, Lydia is definitely working on one of our programs with the business retention. Again, the program with the funding is available. And for the fronts of the businesses, anybody that has a front of your business that would like to remodel or spruce it up is eligible. Has to be in the business district, which all the businesses are. They're eligible up to $1,500. The last is revolving loan fund is out there. It's been out there for 2 years. We had somebody looking at it a year ago, but nobody has been there since. But all 3 programs and projects are going fairly well, and we'll keep you updated on the sale of that property if it occurs. I don't believe anybody has heard since the counteroffer.
Next meeting?
It's basically not set because
224.
224 it is now?
224,
Okay. February 24th.
And that's at the maintenance building?
Maintenance building at 6:30.
6:30? Alright. Any other comments for the EDA? Thanks, guys. Move on to the planning commission. Josh and Tim.
Had a joint meeting with the city council, and just discuss some water hookup issue and then other topics that we're working on. And our next meeting is February 26th.
Anything else to add, Tim?
No?
Alright. Alright, thanks. Moving on to the park and Ricori Trails. Anything, any updates?
Yeah, the updates, first of all, we got a meeting for tomorrow morning in Rockville. Scott Hetland from the SEH gave us a update on progress and how we're going along. And basically, we did get the procedure to proceed with the DNR, we did get that to go. So for the next phase, which will go from Cold Spring to Rockville. And since due to the weather, we were going to do some soil boring. We couldn't do that on that testing because of the cold weather came in so soon, so we had to hold off. So we'll be doing that for here coming up spring here. So, but otherwise, our goals are still to be about 95% completed by August of the 15th. So,
Thanks, Tim.
yep.
Tri-City Cable Commission, obviously Josh and I are appointed that. Their next meeting is April 8th, and right now they're in the process of renegotiating with Mid-Continental about the cable rates or the amount they pay. And so the next meeting is April 8th, which is a little ways out there yet.
Does Tri-City Cable have anything to do with the internet system at all, or any of this high band stuff? No. Not a thing. Okay. I was just reading about all the grants that were given out there, and there is people worried about our cable because it's not always up and running. So I was just wondering if they were looking at improving the whole system that way.
I've never heard a complaint.
Okay. I'll bring some in.
Thanks.
Thanks.
Please pass that on to Josh.
Well, basically, I tell them it's a private company, that they have to go through the cable company is Mid-Continental. Isn't that true? You folks do have a private channel of that, but to allow to work in this area, they have to buy a franchise or get a franchise from us. So if the complaint would go back to Mid-Continental. Or Mid-Continent, excuse me, not Mid.
Yeah.
So, unless you want the complaints to come in,
No.
gladly forward them on.
I've got enough.
All right, thanks for the comment, Pat. We'll move on to the mayor's report for this evening. Last month I attended the Stearns County Municipal Meeting, which is the meeting that was held in St. Martin. It's all the area cities in Stearns County, plus the county commissioners all come. One of the highlights of the meeting was I got appointed chair. I don't know if that's a highlight or not, but the other thing is Commissioner Mergen brought up that the commissioners they approved to put a stoplight at 178th, which is the Cold Spring and the golf course at that crossing. There'll be a stoplight probably by the end of this year getting put up, because it's been proven that it's not a very safe intersection. So that was one of the highlights that was brought up. And the other main speaker we had actually was talking about our taxes and how they play the game of moving taxes around between the residential and the commercial and the industry, and how all that works. And it was an interesting conversation, but when you listen to him, he talks like it's A, B, and C, but for the rest of us, it sounds a lot of Greek stuff, because he goes all over on how you come up with why properties are what they are. So I thought it was kind of interesting, and almost everybody in the room actually listened and asked questions, which usually don't happen at those meetings. They all sit there and listen and let them done. When they're done, they're done. So, and that's all I have for my report for tonight. All right, anybody else have anything they forgot on their report that they wanted to add before we move on?
No, just the River Lake Days organization, which is kicking off the 125th centennial or quincentennial birthday, whatever, of the city of Richmond. Met this past week, and will be coming in to see if they can have some assistance with some of the activities and some permission to use some different grounds of the city. So they will be coming in with probably a written proposal type thing. So, but it looks great. It looks like actually very possibly a Tuesday through Sunday type of celebration, which is adding some days on, hopefully bringing people to town, causing a lot of excitement, What has been confirmed was a music in the park on Tuesday, along with pie and ice cream, pie competition, correct?
Yes.
Pie baking competition. And then I guess the way you vote is how much you eat or something like that. I'm not quite sure. Marty and Cindy are in charge of that. And then Wednesday we're looking at a history show and dinner show type thing. We have a few people interested in that, but nothing has been confirmed back to us. I know that John Decker from the Stearns County Historical Society is working on a program to be given that night. Thursday, we have tentatively agreed upon, not a contract signed or anything yet, about bringing 10 teams of draft horses in from basically representing the 1800s, what type of machinery and different items that were used then, and demonstrations would be about an hour and a half long, and that's tentatively, like I say, is set out at the park, but no permission has been asked yet, so that will be a formal request. So then comes our Friday and Saturday night entertainment, fireworks, grand parade, and the breakfast on Sunday. And possibly they're looking into a all-school reunion on Sunday. So it's going to be a very active week, fulfilled with fun and little work. So
Pat, would you like this to be added on as one of our, maybe we should add
if there
this
is
on?
anything, I'll just bring it up.
Well, I just think we should add it every month and remind
No.
people, that way people have a month to
Okay.
month, they know where
That's
things are at.
fine.
You wanna add it to the council report?
Like I say, it's not a big, we've been just kind of keeping people in line with this celebration that's coming up, so. Question? No. You had something on the end of your tongue.
I'll save it for later.
I just feel, Pat, that if you mentioned a whole bunch of ideas, and if people wanna get involved, I think if they can be reminded, it would make people a little easier for them to get involved and either get a hold
There-
of you or others and.
They can get a hold of myself at home after, in the evening. Tucker Plantberg is another co-chair. Mark Hannon, Tom Hemish, and Charlie Reichert. So if you have an idea or want to help participate, it's also in the paper, so come on, have some fun. It's not all work. It's a lot of fun to work with people and to have this type. There was a lot of people in the committee, including myself, feel we probably won't be around for the next 25 years. At the end of that, it's not going to probably be us. So we're going to have fun now.
Your next meeting is?
First Monday of the month here at City Hall at 7 o'clock.
Anybody else have anything to add? Otherwise, we're gonna move on. Number 8, Richmond American Legion lawful gambling premise permit application.
Mr. Mayor and council members, the city is in receipt of an application request for Minnesota lawful gambling LG 214 premises permit application from the American Legion for Halfley's Bar. I would remind you that this council has approved of a premises permit to the Richmond Fire Department Relief Association to operate their pull tabs and meat raffle there. It's my recommendation to you that if you approve this, you'd be shooting the city in the foot financially, because the funds that the Relief Association donates to the city is a huge impact on keeping our taxes down. If anybody cares to go into the fire bay, there's over $1 million of equipment in that room, and a great share of that comes from the gambling. It's my recommendation to you that you not allow another organization into Halfley's. And so, Mr. Mayor and Council, your action is, if you wish to approve it, you would need a motion to do so, or you just move on. You do not need to take action to not approve it.
Just one question, Mr. Mayor, on that. Of all of the proceeds made by the Firemen's Relief Association, what percent is spent on equipment?
100% of it.
Well, I want to know.
I mean, all the money, from my belief, or from my understanding, the fire relief, I mean, other than paying salaries out of, for people doing the work, the rest of it all gets donated, virtually donated to the city.
If I could add, to make sure that the American Legion is a great organization by itself, this is nothing a reflection on them. This is simply is a financial concern for the city. Without those funds, we would be hurting dramatically.
We also have a couple people here this evening that probably would like to talk a little bit about it, so.
Jeff?
My name is Jeff McAdams. I'm from the city of Richmond. I represent the Richmond Legion. And I don't feel that you should be able to prevent us from going in there, because you can have two organizations in one site. And it's not to say that certain organizations can't donate to the fire department either which way. And I just feel it would be wrong if you did not allow it. And I don't think that if the bar owner himself, whichever one he would allow, it would be up to him. It wouldn't be up to you guys. I mean, he's the one who's got the final say, so who wants to come in there? So, and I just think there's no reason that the Richmond Legion poll shouldn't be in there.
Currently, right now, Jeff, are you guys set up any place?
No, we're not.
You're not. You're not set up any place?
No.
Okay, all right.
We're just going through the process
Just going through the process currently right now too, so.
of getting the permits and everything and setting it up and we have to be allowed by the state, yet we haven't sent this in. This is
Right.
part of the package to send into the state.
Part of the process mainly is what we're looking at here too, so. On the availability of approaching the other establishments in town too, has that been discussed at all?
No, actually, the commander, I didn't talk to him, but the commander actually talked to Bob Halfley himself about it.
Okay,
So, and I don't know what that conversation was, because I wasn't there.
got it.
So, I don't know if Rich Jansen he's with, I don't know if you have anything you want to say?
No, I just thought I'd come and see what's gonna happen there.
Sure.
And like Jeff mentioned, the commander now is not here at the present time. He's out in Arizona panning for gold, but we, so that's, what we're doing, and that's why he's not here. So anyhow, that's about all I have.
Jeff, what other fundraisers you guys doing now? For the
We have a stand at the River Lake Days, and then we also do a raffle every year. And we donate to like the Legion Baseball and to other organizations through the Legion. Through, it's a place in Sauk Center, I can't think of the name of it right now.
Eagles Healing Nest.
Eagle's Nest up in Sauk Center. It's for disabled veterans that come back from
Yep.
Afghanistan, Iraq and stuff.
Familiar with that.
Just to help them out. It's just a healing point.
Any other questions or comments for Jeff? Alright, thanks Jeff.
Thanks.
Like Marty said, it's up to us if we wanna approve it or not, or move forward. I guess I'd ask to look for a motion, and we'll see where it goes. Or you can pull it and have it come up on our workshop if you wanna have a better discussion. If you don't feel comfortable doing it now. I'm giving you two options. I'm gonna ask one more time if there's any action, otherwise I'm gonna move on.
Mr. Mayor, I'd definitely like to explore this a little bit. Am I torn in between the two? Yes. That's why I'm asking for an exploring it a little bit more.
So do we wanna?
One thing I would like to do is to find out actually what the per year, per average the last 3 years, as the gaming manager from the Fireman's Relief, what was made and how much would be deterred out of the city itself from that. I'm a numbers person. I like to see the numbers, find out what you're winning or you're losing. And if we do have a workshop this month, if you want to put it on there, that's fine. But if if it's going to be explored, let's take a look at it. Sit down with both parties or whatever. One item is that according to law, it's up to the city to allow that permit, correct?
Well, the license and ultimately the approval permit, yeah.
So,
comes at the state
The
level.
owner of the establishment can make a recommendation, but does not have the final say.
Well, where it's regulated on the city level is you guys determine in which premises it's gonna be allowed and where it's gonna be applicable. So, right now, I'm assuming that it's permitted within the location that we're applying for.
Right.
But I think Councilman Mathiasen asked about if there were other locations they would perhaps consider. I like your idea of maybe discussing a little bit and seeing what's available.
You know, if it,
I mean, the licensing and the permit ultimately come from the state, and they regulate the charitable gambling. You guys dictate where it's allowed within your
premise
community.
permit.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about here. So basically, when someone says that, well, I have the right in my establishment, yes and no.
Yeah, okay.
He has the right, but by the blessing of us. And, like it was mentioned beforehand, both organizations are fantastic organizations, but I want to get to the bottom of it. I want to find out what's going on here.
From my understanding from you, you'd like to move this to our workshop?
Correct, if we have one this month, if not, next month.
Okay. Everybody okay with that?
I'm all right with that.
I'd be fine with that. In the meantime, I'd like to see the Legion, if they possibly can, look at other establishments also too, if they could. If they want to come back to the table with that, to us, you know, then that might help us, you know, make a decision one way or the other. So if you'd be willing to do that. So, but, yeah, I'd like to.
If I may, I don't know what difference it would make if you go to a different spot. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can have two in the same spot,
Right.
but why would it make a difference if we go to one bar or to a different bar? Then it's okay. I mean.
No, not necessarily,
That's
but.
what my question is on that.
Okay, well, my question pertaining to that then is becoming to a different establishment is that whoever goes into, you know, say Happily, you know, has the availability of trying to, you know, help fund, you know, either or. Okay, so while they're in there, so you got two in there. If there's nothing, and I don't know, I guess I'm just sitting there, I don't know, does Corky's have anything in there currently right now? They do. Okay, how about the firehouse?
Yes.
And they do also. Okay, all right. Okay, so either way, somebody does have something in either one of those particular establishments. All right, so no matter which particular one you would go to, you would be then obviously just what we're talking about right now. You'd be fighting another organization that's already in those establishments. Okay, that was my question. That's why I was going there. 'Cause I wasn't really sure exactly if there were or was not. Okay, so you put some clarity in that then also.
My
Okay,
understanding
thank you.
is that Lions is in both Corky's and
Right. Firehouse.
Firehouse.
They're in both. Oh, okay.
All right, we're gonna move the gambling permit request application to our next meeting, which will be the workshop on February 19th if we have one, or it'll get moved. At this time, we'll move on to the request of council action. Item A, which is 114-11, which is the grantor of the fire relief
Thanks, Richard.
credit card with the State Bank of Richmond. Does anybody need any clarification on that? If not, I would look for a motion.
You know, Marty had sent this to me today, and I was looking into whether, I guess I'm not 100% sure if it's correct or okay for a city to co-sign on a credit card for the Fire Relief Association. Only because the Fire Relief Association is an entirely, you know, separate entity. It's kind of like the city's, you know, signing as a co-signer for like a private business. I know the Fire Relief Association is not a private business, but sort of to make an analogy, and so before we take action on this, I guess I would just request maybe it be tabled until the next meeting so I can look into it a little further. Marty had sent me the information today and I had looked at it briefly, but it's something I would hate for the city to kind of get in trouble for or caught, you know, doing something they're not supposed to do, so to speak. I know we're talking about a relatively minor credit card with a minor line of credit, but yeah, I'm just not 100% certain that it's appropriate for the city to be signing on as kind of the co-signer or the grantor for a credit card for the Relief Association.
I guess my you know, it's through the local bank, the way it reads here to me. And I just can't understand, I believe that some of the Firemen's Relief Association money is in the local bank, correct? And besides the investments that they have out there, I understand that too. Why the city has to get involved at all? Is it just the what did you say, protocols of this bank? I'm not 100% sure. Because for this small line of credit, they should be able to outdo that by about 50 times.
Yeah, we're not talking about a $50,000 limit.
Yeah, right, yeah.
So,
Well, and that brings up another point, is that with this, did the Fire Relief Association, just like any of us, when we just go ahead and just apply for a credit card, you know, and they do a credit history or a credit rating on you, either as a person or as a company or whatever, did they go through that process and just get it on their own, or can they just get a credit card on their own? I mean,
my
pretty much
understanding
go
is
fill out an
they
application. What's
filled
that?
it out and they
That's what they're
said,
trying to do.
But why does it have to be this one?
This one what?
Why does it have to be this card? Why can't it be a MasterCard, a Discover card, American
oh, I
Express
see
card?
what you're saying.
Because
That's a
we
business.
try to buy and shop local.
I get that, but then that would take out the inherent cosign availability from the city standpoint. We wouldn't have nothing to do with it. It would just be like a personal credit card, like you have a credit card.
Well,
You know what I mean?
If it's a banking industry requirement, whether that's here
It
in.
doesn't have to be anything. Why does it have to be with the bank at all? If I go and apply online for an application for a credit card myself personally, okay, and I get it, and they said, yeah, you're great, got a phenomenal credit, look at your credit history, credit rating, nothing to do, don't have to worry about my bank, don't have to worry about anything else. It's my credit that I've established, and my limit is, you know, $10,000-$15,000, and all of it's burdened on myself. I don't have any co-signee or anybody backing me up in case I, you know, go defunct on that credit card. So that's where I'm going at with the Fire Relief Association.
well, I think our.
I mean, can that be done? That's what I'm asking. I
You're
don't
right.
know.
I think our legal staff has, you know, a
Right.
good idea, just do a little bit more research,
Yeah, that's exactly,
you know,
yeah.
into it, find out, because this was just an addendum to the,
Well, how about we'll table this till our next workshop along with their other items that have been moved, and then we'll address it at that time.
I just don't wanna.
All right? Everybody fine with that?
I'm
agree with
totally
that.
fine with that.
Yep.
Okay, then we'll move on to item B, which is resolution 115-15, the appointment of a new assistant emergency management director, which is Randy Shackman, would be taking over Steve Kosh's position as the assistant director. And part of this is to divide up duties, that now that Steve's the chief, he shouldn't be part of the management team of emergency
I understand
management,
that.
so.
has this position been open to the citizens of Richmond?
No. It's not required.
Not required?
It's your decision.
Because the old saying goes, you know, the more people that you tie up out of the department, the less men you have available. I shouldn't say that, the less personnel you have available, to be politically correct.
It was discussed.
By staff or by the?
Staff.
Okay. Then I make a motion to approve, resolution number
15,
5-15.
and I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Moving on to other matters of concern tonight, or related matters, is there any?
I have nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Okay. Workshop, February 19th, 2015, obviously we moved two things to that already.
Mr. Mayor, I will not be able to attend that meeting.
Okay. Anybody else not able to attend the 19th?
Last meeting.
Okay.
I have one question for Chris, I'm just gonna ask.
Yep, go ahead. Chris Boucher?
Chris, I got a question. When did you say you wanted that wall mount? When you were trying to get that done?
As soon as we find out the supplier,
Yep.
that would be Stearns County. The person that is in charge of that was out for 2 weeks, so I would say in the next week we'll know for sure. Once we find out for sure, yeah, it's something as simple as cutting a hole in the wall and mounting it on the backside. So we're talking, hopefully having it running within a month.
Month, okay.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, so we can let Lisa, the residents know and stuff. I know we'll put it in the paper
It'll be in the paper.
but I mean, also so we can put it up here in the hallway here so people understand and know where it's at as well. I think that's a good program.
Right, because they have to have it 24-hour surveillance, we gotta hook up a camera and all that, so
Yep.
that's why I say a month. So it's gonna be pretty quick.
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything else for this evening? Otherwise, if I don't see anything, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
I have a question. Anything on this water things that has been brought up yet? Or that's already been approved and everything?
Through our consent agenda, we approved the water hookups. The letter that you were sent should have explained, at our last workshop, we went through every address that was on that sheet of paper the night you guys were here and addressed every issue, and we came up with what we thought was fair for everybody and we didn't make exceptions for any one particular. If we made an exception, it was under circumstances and how we made the exceptions.
Well, for one thing, we had a meeting, how many months ago? And some of your council members were not here at that time, and then we had another meeting, council member was not here again, and he said, well, come back to this meeting and we'll discuss it. There was no discussion on it. It was already been approved. And another thing, I have been grandfathered into that place for how many years, and I think I should have good water, and I still think I should have a right, and you got Tucker Planberg and you got Mrs. Gherkin, they got 5 years. Why should they have any more priority over than my October, for another thing? But I have better water, and my well is great, and until my well goes bad, or if I move out, I can see putting it in. But not till then. I cannot see you guys coming here at two meetings ago, or how long ago, and when all our people were here, then it was not good enough to have it, and now everybody's here, it's already been approved. That's baloney.
Did you have a motion? Did Tim make the motion to
Tim
adjourn?
made a motion to adjourn. Anybody else second that?
Any other discussion pertaining to this while he was here that we need to address?
Out of order. You have a motion on the floor that you need to act on.
You made a motion to adjourn? Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried.